Okay, obviously I have to do part 2 here. What was I talking about? Oh, fear of abandonment. So, yeah, I mean, the thing is, I think the only way to sort of keep that in check is, first of all, to be completely aware of it and to attack it logically and say, okay, this is what I'm feeling, but really is this actual truth of what's happening? This was a DBT video I made. I explained that using the wise mind is how they put it. That's the way to get around it. And then also it really helps a lot if somebody, it is a sort of a self-defense thing that people will basically blame you, especially if you're avoidant, because you're you'll accept this bullshit. They blame you because they need to leave. The second person that I was talking about in the previous video has made massive strides to not say, okay, well, you're driving me away. That's like huge, not to be told that, and it makes everything better and safer. Okay, fear of intimacy. Yeah, okay, so what the fear of intimacy is, meaning, okay, well, there's two different things. Okay, if you're talking about straight up fear of sex, that's just lack of knowledge and self-doubt, etc. And, there's other YouTube videos, and you can actually research. You can do a lot of stuff online and actually get a grip on it, believe it or not. And I'm not saying go look up porn, but seriously, you can find the nuts and bolts out. Don't look at porn. If you have a fear of sex, don't look at porn, because that will just freak you out, because of course it's like beyond unrealistic. But you can, if that's your issue, you can actually do research and figure out ways to just get a grip on what's actually happening, and so it won't be so scary. As far as fear of sort of getting personal with somebody, yeah, I mean, that is the self-loathing, and you think you're going to be rejected. And, in my case, I think people that want to have anything to do with me, either they're completely crazy and scary and I need to be away from them, or they haven't come to their senses, and eventually they will come to their senses and they will leave. And so for that reason, I try to keep things close to the vest, believe it or not. I will talk about facts, but not my feelings a lot. And that's what it's about. And again, if you're aware of it and you practice it, then you can get better at it. That's what it is. Okay. Do I rank myself low compared to others? Absolutely, yes, I do. I think that, yes, I'm unworthy. I'm the lowest there is. And it kind of breaks my brain when I find people who are acting in a way that's worse than me. This is among the reasons I think that I take borderline people so personally, which is these people, they behave horrifically. They treat people like shit. They're selfish. They lie. They're self-destructive to the max, and yet they have so many people in their lives. And I'm like, what? You are deplorable. You're a horrible person, and you have people? You act way worse than me, and you have people? When I'm behaviorally a much better person, And I can't have people. I was so offended when Charles Manson got engaged again. I was like, are you kidding me? That person is eligible. I am not. Therefore, I'm lower than that. Oh my God. Yeah, I mean, I come straight out and make in my head, there's like, you know, a line, and it's, are you higher than this or lower than this? I mean, it really is like a chart almost to me, where I'm like, and the thing is this, I use it to prove my avoidance. Because I'll be like, okay, this person treats you like crap, but you're nicer to them than to me, even though I'm helpful to you. Therefore, our baselines, I should be on top, but I'm not by my treatment of you, and you treat me worse than them. Therefore, like, this is when I say I have the black mark on my soul. Therefore, I'm so much worse because it doesn't matter. I treat you well. Therefore, that means wherever my baseline is, I should rise above. This other person, they're treating you like crap, and they're a crap person, and yet you treat them better. That means their baseline must be much higher than mine. I mean, I really legit do that. So why do I care about other people's judgments? Well, because I'm avoidant. And if you don't understand that, then you don't understand avoidant personality disorder. It is probably the biggest thing that drives me, one way or the other, is, I it's hard to explain. I mean, I'm not trying to think of an example, but I've got like this gut feeling that I purposefully will do something that I'm ashamed of in order to have an excuse not to interact with people, because then they might find out this shameful thing about me and judge me. So, and I'm not talking about big things. I'm talking about like, I'm going to skip brushing my teeth today. Therefore, I can't be around other people. Because I don't want to be judged as somebody that didn't brush their teeth. I don't do that very often, but I've done that in the past. That's actually legit. And I mean, they're that simple and stupid and tiny. And again, this is what I was saying before, to actually compare yourself to other people compared to what you do. You probably don't come out anywhere near as bad as you think you do, but I would legit use that. What do I care about? Why do I care about other people who judge me? I just do, because that is what I knew growing up. That was all I knew growing up. Was where I ranked and how I was going to be judged, and I was made to feel that it was 100% my fault. That whatever the judgment was, it was my fault. Intrusive thoughts. Intrusive thoughts, you're talking about PTSD level intrusive thoughts? That's when something just pops out of nowhere. You have some sort of reminder, and it's just like out of nowhere, you're like reliving. That's a PTSD type thought. Intrusive thoughts as far as, but other than that, other than true PTSD type things, I mean, what you're probably describing, I'm assuming, is a habit, actually. And mindfulness can help you break out of that habit. Because, you would have the intrusive thought to basically de-stress and to protect yourself. It's a coping mechanism that instead of dealing with whatever you're dealing with right now, you're having this intrusive thought. And what I would do if it's really annoying is I would sort of log it and track it and see what you're doing, what the circumstances are that it pops up for you. Because it might be like a super boring thing that you really don't need to do, and you have these intrusive thoughts every time you try to do it. Okay, well, rearrange your life so you don't have to do it. You can do that. Like, if you hate mopping the floor, you can get one of those Roomba things. And yeah, they might be a little expensive, but then again, you might be able to get a knockoff that's really cheap. I've seen for 20 bucks. So there's ways around whatever you're doing. Obviously, you can't not do everything. And, you know, so you can gauge it, actually, to see, okay, I'm tolerating this, whatever I'm doing, standing in line at the store, but now the intrusive thoughts are coming to me and I can't get rid of them. That means it's time for me to get out of this line and get away from these people, and who cares if it's going to take me longer. Maybe I'm going to just drop off my cart and leave the store entirely, but I'm getting to a breaking point. I need to go. So I would, you know, you could do that and see exactly how, what is going on. Okay, how does mindfulness stop the fear of judgment? It basically forces you to concentrate on actual physical things that are really happening. You can't really know what somebody is thinking about, unless actually articulating it. But if you've got a fear judgment about, you know, oh, that person is looking at me and I think this is what the expression on their face means. If you suddenly start paying attention to the way your toes feel in your shoes or something like that, that will break your thought process and you won't be thinking of what the other person is thinking. And that's how mindfulness can temporarily stop the fear of judgment. And how can you be mindful with other people? Well, if you're with other people, how can you still be mindful? I actually highly suggest it, and it's like being a good friend. It's if you can be mindful, because if you're not mindful, you're doing one of two or maybe both at the same time things, which is ruminating, which is focusing on the past, what's already happened, or you're trying to predict the future. In which case, in both cases, you're not paying attention to the person that you're talking to. And so you can absolutely be mindful of the conversation that you're having. You can be mindful of the tone of their voice and the quality of their voice. You can be mindful of what are they doing with their hands that you're seeing. You can be mindful of, are you tapping your foot or something like that. You can be mindful of, you know, is the thing you're sitting on a little bit uncomfortable. You can be mindful of, is the music in the background a little bit louder than you want, or whatever, or is there light shining through the window at an awkward angle and that maybe the both of you should shift or something. All these things actually will contribute to the conversation, because your focus will be on being with the other person as opposed to you know, thinking of the past or worrying about the future. And again, you don't have to do this permanently. I mean, literally, once you've broken the cycle, you can stop it pretty quick. So, I mean, you could do it for like 3 seconds, literally. That will stop you from thinking about whatever thing that happened in the past, and then you can focus on what's happening right now. And do that over and over again. It's not like that's the other thing. You see these yoga people and they're like, we're going to be mindful for the next 38 minutes. No. All right. So this is the end of Vlogmas, and I clearly did not meet my goal of trying to not be so wordy. But there it is. So that's the end.